Nature is our home. Everything, the trees, the plains, the mountains, the seas, and the rivers, is a part of this home. And this home follows its own laws. The night waits for the sunrise, the storm obeys the law of the clouds, and rivers endlessly flow downward through long valleys. Nature never breaks these laws because they form a whole, complete and harmonious. For the Stoics, nature was not only beauty, it was also the greatest teacher. This teacher shows us how to live. If there were no snow or rain, there would be no greenery. Without greenery, there would be drought, and humanity could not find food. If there were no mountains, rivers would not flow so strongly, and valleys would not be so lush. Without wind, dust and seeds would not be carried, and plants and trees would have no means to spread. Without winter, the soil would not rest, and some seeds could not find the right conditions to sprout. Without spring, life would not renew, plants would not bloom, and animals and humans would not witness the fruit of a new season. Without summer, there would be no sunlight or warmth, and the cycle of growth and life would come to a halt. And without autumn, the harvest would not be gathered, and nature would not complete its cycle. For the Stoics, this was not merely an ecological connection, it was an example of the laws, order, and justice that govern life itself. Nature teaches us that everything happens in its place and in its time, and that we must live in harmony with these laws. The only being that violates this order is the human. Since the dawn of humanity, man has continually gone against nature, waging wars, destroying cities and villages, leaving the natural world in ruin. In the end, he has faced the consequences of his own actions. The soil has lost its fertility, rivers have become polluted, the freshness of the air has diminished, bringing with it disease and hunger. In Stoic philosophy, this outcome was inevitable. The one who breaks the laws of nature must face the results of his deeds. Yet nature remains just. It never breaks its own laws. It merely reflects human behavior. Every storm, every flood, every drought is a warning, a reminder that we are part of this home, and if we fail to live by its rules, we make our own lives harder. The Stoics said that nature gives us harsh but honest lessons. True wisdom lies in accepting the laws of life and living in harmony with them. Every time we step into nature, we are, in truth, meeting ourselves. The song of the birds, the touch of the wind, the scent of the earth, all these are medicine for the soul. That is why the ancient Stoic philosophers believed that the universe is humanity's greatest teacher. They did not merely observe nature, they learned from it, taking lessons for life itself. For nature carries both peace and eternal wisdom. Do you know what the strength of the Stoics was? They understood nature better than anyone else. In Stoic philosophy, every aspect of life is subject to the laws of Mother Nature. How so? Let's try to understand this together. Take trees, for example. Most of us see them as ordinary plants. But let's not rush. Let's look closer. For the Stoics, trees, like mountains, were symbols of patience and endurance in nature. They anchor their roots firmly into the earth, yet stretch their branches toward the sky, enduring the trials of ever-changing weather and seasons. Storms blow. Strong winds break their branches. Snow and ice strike their leaves, and rains soften the soil, testing their roots. Yet the tree always remains where it stands, sprouts new leaves, turns green again, and continues its life. The Stoics saw human life in the same way. Every hardship, every loss, every disappointment is a storm of life. Sometimes we fall, sometimes our wounds ache, but our strength lies in our ability to rise again, to return to the light of life. Trees teach us that endurance is not just about remaining still, but about standing firm in the face of life's trials. Endurance is also inner strength. Like a tree, a person must stand firm in their roots, their values and principles, while remaining flexible enough to reach upward toward their dreams and goals. The Stoics said, "The storm may touch you, but never let it bend your spirit." Each time you face a challenge, remember the endurance of the tree. Its leaves may fall, its branches may break, but life goes on. And so must we, emerging from every struggle stronger, more determined, and wiser than before. To be steady like a tree, yet flexible, that is true Stoic resilience. Watch a flowing river. It quietly makes its way down from the mountains, sometimes swiftly, sometimes slowly. The stones in its path cannot stop it. The river either flows over them, moves around them, or patiently wears them down drop by drop over time. No obstacle can completely halt its flow, and in the end, after passing through plains, valleys, and forests, the river finally merges with the vast ocean. The Stoics said that life is like a river. Each of our paths is filled with obstacles, losses, disappointments, hardships, and unexpected turns. But just like the river, we are not made to stop. We are made to move forward. If there are stones trying to block your way, do not fear them. Face them with patience. Overcome each obstacle. Change your course if you must, but never abandon your purpose. With time, through patience and persistence, every difficulty will move aside, and you, too, will reach life's great ocean, the ocean of inner peace and wisdom. Epictetus said, "The storms of life may test your soul, but through patience and perseverance, no stone can ever stop you." The river teaches us that strength lies not only in speed or force, but in endurance, flexibility, and patience. Every obstacle is a lesson, and the true Stoic understands these lessons and keeps moving forward. I could give you hundreds of such examples from nature, but what truly matters is the beauty of nature itself, and the secret of that beauty lies in its simplicity. A sunset, the flutter of a bird's wings, a simple flower blooming in a meadow. None of these are grand or extravagant, yet each is priceless. The Stoics said, "Happiness is not found in having more, but in being content with less." Nature shows us that simplicity is the truest form of wealth. Why do I use nature as an example? Because we must not forget that Stoic philosophy is built upon this wisdom, the distinction between what we can and cannot control. Every reaction we have in life, our emotions, our decisions, and our countless answers to endless questions, depends on this understanding. We often use the example of rain to explain it, but this time I want to share that example with you in a different way. Once upon a time, there lived an old, pious man. He had only 2 daughters, both of whom were married and living in different villages. One day, the old man decided to visit them. When he arrived at his elder daughter's home, he greeted her warmly and asked how things were going. She said everything was fine, but added, "I just hope it doesn't rain this week. We've harvested our grain, and we need to carry it from the fields to the storage. If it rains, all our work will be ruined." After spending some time there, the old man went to visit his younger daughter. When he asked her about her life and work, she replied, "This year we planted a lot of vegetables, but there hasn't been much water. May God send us rain so our efforts won't be wasted. If it doesn't rain, the heat will destroy our crops, and we'll be left with nothing. All our hope is in the rain later." The man returned home. When the time for prayer came, His wife noticed he looked troubled and asked, "What's wrong?" He sighed and replied, "I visited both of our daughters. Thank God, they are doing well. You know I always pray for their well-being, but now I am at a loss. Should I pray for rain to come or for it not to come? Because each of them depends on the opposite." Of course, this is just a parable, but it carries a lesson. We cannot go against nature. If rain is meant to come, it will come. If it will disrupt our plans, it will still come. What we can do is take precautions and adapt, because that is the natural order of things. We have no power to go against it. From this, we can conclude that we must live in accordance with nature's laws. Stoic philosophy clearly teaches the same. We cannot resist nature. We cannot shout at the rain, the wind, or the falling snow. We must understand that nothing in nature resists. Everything flows, changes, and continues. The Stoics said that resisting the flow of life only brings suffering. The wisest path is to adapt, to accept, and to appreciate what is. Nature teaches us, go with the flow of life, for you cannot fight against it. The subtle truth here is that, according to Stoic philosophy, human beings and nature are one. The more we act against nature's laws, the more inner turmoil we create. If the wind blows, it is wiser to accept it and make use of it rather than trying to stop it. Nature teaches us that trying to control everything is a futile effort. True strength lies in mastering what we can control. If the rain catches you unexpectedly in the street, shouting at the sky won't change anything. But if you find shelter, even without an umbrella, you can wait it out and then continue on your way. Thus, in the eyes of the Stoics, nature was not just a beautiful landscape. It was a profound school of wisdom. The trees teach endurance, the rivers teach persistence, the seasons teach impermanence, the mountains teach strength, simplicity teaches happiness, and silence teaches inner wisdom. Each time you step into nature, align not only your footsteps, but also your thoughts with its silence. For nature shows us that everything changes, yet wisdom remains unchanged. As the Stoics said, live in accordance with the laws of nature, and you will never lose your way. Think about it. The morning breaks, the sun rises over the horizon, the wind stirs the leaves, and the birds mark the rhythm of the world with their song. Nature is not merely a miracle, it is a lesson that speaks to us at every moment. In Stoic philosophy, nature is not just the world around us. It is the symbol of life's order and harmony. Every event, every storm, every calm flow carries a message for the human soul. For the Stoics, nature was a teacher, stern yet just, firm yet compassionate. Every tree, every flower lives by its own laws. To the Stoics, nature was the symbol of rightness. Everything happens in its way, in its time. And when a person lives in harmony with these laws of nature, they find inner peace. To let go of impossible desires, to accept the rhythm of life, and to flow with nature. These were among the core teachings of Stoic philosophy. The lessons of life come from observing nature. Watching the sunrise, the falling rain, or the flight of birds makes a person more mindful and wise. The Stoics read nature as if it were a book, drawing lessons from every page. Every event in life, like nature itself, is open and honest. You simply need to know how to read it. Nature constantly reminds us that everything exists according to its own laws and nothing happens by chance. Trees teach us patience, rivers show persistence, mountains remind us of strength, and the seasons prove that change is inevitable. Stoic philosophy teaches the same truth. Only when a person accepts these natural laws can they find inner peace and wisdom. If we go against nature, we destroy ourselves. But if we live in harmony with it, both our spirit and our life grow stronger. The Stoics said that to be in harmony with nature is to be in harmony with life itself, because nature is our home, and we are a part of it. One who understands its lessons no longer fears any storm in life. Let me share a small secret with you. You've probably noticed, or perhaps you've done it yourself. When you're tense, tired of everything and everyone, you instinctively want to retreat into nature, to be alone and think clearly. Do you know what that truly is? It is a return to the oldest memory of humankind, a return home. Because we were born from nature, we are part of it. When you sit under a tree's shade, listen to the sound of the sea, or breathe at the foot of a mountain, your soul finds rest. Why? Because nature is whispering to you, remember who you are. Within that silence, within that stillness, you rediscover your inner peace. The Stoics understood this deeply. They said that when a person withdraws into nature, they begin to feel its order more profoundly and see the meaning of life more clearly. The voice of nature is quiet, but the greatest wisdom is hidden in that whisper. Perhaps that is why, in our hardest moments, we instinctively run to nature, because there, no lies exist, no masks remain. There, only truth exists, the simplicity of life, the flow of time, and the natural order of all things. So look around carefully. Every tree, every river, every mountain is teaching you something. If you can see those lessons, you will transform your life. And that is what it truly means to be a Stoic.